and welcome to episode 163 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I'm Jack.
And my tummy hurts.
And Margaret's tummy hurts.
My tummy hurts.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Oh, my tummy hurt. My tummy hurts.
My tummy hurts. My tummy hurts.
It does. I think it's because I chugged my coffee this morning. I turn this fan on.
Jug. Yeah,
Is it plugged in?
Yeah.
Let's go. Do you want me to oscillate it?
No, I can feel it there.
You
On my
feel it?
tootsie. Yeah.
Go. Yeah. Hey, my tummy hurts.
Hey, my tummy hurts.
And I'm not being brave about it.
No, but that's okay. We don't always need to be brave about our tummy hurting.
How about you?
We can just be upset that our tummy hurts.
How's your tummy? Is your tummy hurting too?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of tummy hurty pals.
I feel like it's tummy hurty day.
Feel like yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
Tummy hurty day.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. It's tummy hurting day. So
Tummy hurting day.
Bring your tummies.
Let them hurt.
Let them hurt.
We can all hurt together.
Yep. Oh gosh. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
How are you doing? What are you up
eating?
to? I hope you've had a wonderful week.
End.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. By the time it's bank holiday weekend here in the UK.
It's bank holiday weekend today.
Yeah. So I hope you're having
a lovely day
a
off.
wonderful bank holiday weekend. Like a lot of people get bank holiday off in UK, don't they?
Yes, I think it's like restaurants that don't is the issue.
Yeah.
I think even like some retail shops have blank holiday, or they at least finish fat earlier. Than they used.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, you know, when we worked in car sales, never a day off. But bank holiday was like a Sunday where you worked till like 3 or something.
Yeah.
You started at 10 and finished at 3. You will basically work for like 4 hours. It's just pointless.
Yeah. I don't think I ever had to work a bank holiday. Not at the cinema, to be fair, at the cinema, because obviously everyone's off, so everyone goes to the cinema on like a bank holiday. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful bank holiday. What you been up to? What you doing? Who are you doing? What you eating?
What you eating?
I'd like to know.
You eating anything nice?
We
had a Wendy's yesterday.
We did have Wendy's yesterday.
It was delicious.
I got some spicy nuggets.
Yeah.
And listen, they were a bit spicy for me.
We went for the OG nuggets, but they were out.
Yeah. So I had the spicy nuggets, and they
were still so good.
They were the crispiest nuggets I've ever had. They were so crispy, crunchy.
What Wendy's puts in the chicken batter?
No
like
idea.
The batter, but it's unbelievable. I had the
really
spicy
good.
burger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm assuming the spicy chicken in it was similar to.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was so good.
Yeah.
Like the beef burger, like the Dave Single, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it a Dave Single.
Yeah. I think the beef burgers are great as well, to be fair.
It was fine. The beef burger was good, but the chicken burger.
And the chips.
Say less.
Oh my gosh. The Wendy's chips are so good.
And do you know what? Every single time we've gone to Wendy's, we've got a baked potato, and it's been unbelievable. Yesterday, they were dreadful.
I agree.
They were dreadful
yesterday. I
yesterday.
agree. Normally, I think it's because there wasn't cheese on it.
But the thing is, we usually get the sour cream, don't we?
Yeah, but we don't. It's normally cheese and sour cream. They just forgot to put the cheese on it.
That's not the option. They don't give that option.
Do they not?
No.
Oh.
So I think we've never had sour cream. We've only ever had
cheese.
Cheese?
Cheese. Right.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Well, I think we've just forgotten.
Right.
So I think next time we go, we get cheese.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we both got sour cream and neither of us.
Yeah, and we love the jacket potatoes.
I like the sour cream, but the jacket potato, it was just bad. It was like, you could tell they were old.
Yeah. To be fair, we went, well, it wasn't that late.
Like 7, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, it wasn't that late, I guess.
Yeah, it was about 8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, for a Saturday.
So not that late.
But everything else was delicious.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hey, my tummy hurt.
No!
Oh, goodness. I'm going to be a brave soldier and push through this.
You are God's bravest soldier.
Yep. I'm hot. I'm sweating.
He gives his hardest battles to his bravest soldiers, am I right?
Again, I'm not. That's not me.
Yeah?
I'm not the strongest soldier. You
are the strongest soldier. He's giving you the hardest battle right now.
I'm the weakest soldier.
Tummy
Please
ache.
stop giving me your battles. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I'm not feeling good.
Oh
but,
no.
I'm hoping. I've taken some Rennies. I've taken some painkillers.
You'll feel better.
I'm hoping I'll feel better. I've got the fan on me.
Yeah.
Dog's coming to say hi. Oh no, he's not.
He's just having a spin.
Actually.
He's just having a little spin.
Oh, so yeah, how are you?
Me, great, brilliant, having a great time.
Good.
Doing great.
Good.
I was watching some of the the Valorant Grand Finals just then.
Nice.
It's great because Valorant Grand Finals has just finished.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yes.
War Within comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like
Perfect
I can get rid of one obsession.
Yeah.
And start another one.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I do.
Perfect time. Good of them. To be honest.
To be honest, it's great that they planned it like that. Because I can stop now. Like obsessing with Valorant, because Valorant. The thing is as well, I like watching Pro Valorant. And Pro Valorant isn't going to be a thing now for months until
I feel like Pro Valorant. There's a lot of Pro Valorant on, like in general, though, right?
Yeah,
is there not?
It's like 6 months off and then 6 months on, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
they're trying to change it, so it's less off time because there's so much off time, and then they cram so much Valorant into such a short space of time. It's like I went from like February to August. So it's 6 months, and then they're going to have 6 months off. So they're trying to spread it out a little bit more, so it's less like
intense,
just jam-packed into a small amount of time.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good thing. Like, God,
that is a good
thing. The actual teams, they must be just exhausted.
Yeah.
It must take like that 6 months to fully recover from the 6 months of play, right?
Yeah.
Valorant. Listen, hey, I can't have more than one hyperfixation at a time. So at the time you watch this, the War Within actual official launch, the early access has been out for a few days, but
but the official launch tonight.
It's coming out tonight,
11 o'clock.
And because of that, we are not going to have a stream tomorrow.
Correct.
The 27th.
Yeah, we're gonna cane War Within.
Yeah.
Just play the ever loving hell out of it.
Yeah, we are. We're taking the week off, the day off D&D as well.
Yeah.
So we can just
Wednesday.
get our teeth in. So yes, there's not going to be a Twitch stream on Tuesday, the 27th of August.
For you,
tomorrow, basically. I'll make an announcement everywhere. On stream tonight, we'll say it as well.
Yeah.
Some very exciting news.
Oh my God.
So, we have been accepted as creators for MCM Comic Con in October.
Creators.
Oh my gosh.
We create things, apparently.
Yep.
It's just weird to call myself that.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? At least it's not an influencer.
Oh.
At least it's not that. I think creator. To be honestly, just like YouTubers is probably the best
Twitch
one.
Streamers.
Right? Yeah, Twitch streamers.
TikTokers.
Twitch stream. Yeah. Yeah. We've been accepted for creator passes. Now, don't get me wrong. Creator passes, it's basically just like free entry to the weekend, which
for free,
of course we're extremely grateful for.
Yeah. And
we applied last year for the October Comic Con. And we got rejected, and this year we've been approved, which
is kind of cool.
Yeah, it feels like character development.
Yeah, it feels like character growth.
Yeah,
it feels
really
like the
does.
podcast is, and the TikTok and the Twitch stream has gotten to a point now where it's just like people at Comic Con.
They're like, yeah, you're creators.
Yeah, people at MCM and what is it, Excel? EGX. Excel.
That's where it's at. It's at the Excel Center.
That's why I thought it was. Maybe I just got it wrong.
Yeah, no, it's at the Excel Center.
Think that we're big enough creators to give us free access?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we were going regardless, let's be honest. We are going to be there for Saturday and Sunday. I think it's like the 25th to the 27th of October. We will be doing some sort of a fan meetup. We don't know exactly when, like which day or what time, but we've got a little while to decide that.
Yeah.
So as soon as we know, we will let you know. So if you're going to Comic-Con in October, we'd love to see you, even if it's not at the meetup. If you see us around,
just say
please
hello.
Come say hi. We love meeting you guys. Hey, I'm a hugger.
Oh my God, get hugged by Margaret.
I respect you if you're not.
Yeah.
So
if you ain't a hugger, just let Margaret know.
You just gotta let me know before I try and embrace you. I will always ask. Don't worry.
Get embraced by me.
No, you can have a sandwich. You can have a Mags and Jack sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be in the middle.
Yeah, you can be the filling.
Yeah, how about that?
We'll be the bread and you can be the filling.
Yeah, how about that? You can choose whatever filling you want. I don't mind. So yeah, we're going to be there in October, which is very, very, very exciting.
Very cool.
We have something very exciting in Thursday's episode as well.
Poggies.
For our D&D 5e fans.
We sure are.
Keep an eye out. There was something else.
Was it not? I think that was it. Talking about MCM, talking about the Twitch streams from now on,
yes.
Just so you know, I'm just going to be moving an hour forward.
Yes.
So instead of 7 till 11 our time BST, they're going to 6 till 10 BST.
Yes.
So if that is, you know, relevant to you, if you might be able to now catch an hour of stream, or it's at a better time for you.
Yep.
We're just moving forward just because it was just a little late.
Yeah, because then, you know, like, we'd finish at 11, and then I have to take all my makeup off and get ready for bed, and then we have to sort the dog out and
wind
get something
down
to eat, and by the time that we were actually getting to either play some games for a couple of hours on a night, or even just go to bed, it's
just
our sleeping pattern's so bad
and we've
right
fallen
now.
into a worse sleeping pattern.
Yeah,
because of how late stream is.
Yeah, it's actually terrible, our sleeping pattern right now. So we need to sort it out, and you know what? We need to sort it out before we go to Logiplay.
We go Logiplay next month.
Yeah,
and then we go to Comic-Con the month after.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a lot of early mornings.
Or even if we can't keep it super early, as long as we like get it earlier. Like you said, like go to sleep at 2, wake up at 10. That would be perfect.
That would be the perfect sleeping pattern.
It means we can still play with our American friends for a couple of hours on night.
Yeah, whereas right now we're going to sleep at like 4:30 and waking up at 1, which is just the worst. Yeah. And the thing is, I know that we can work whenever we want, right? Yeah. And all of our friends are American pretty much, so we can hang out with them kind of whenever. But
it's days like today where we have to film and then edit and then stream. We're going like filming, rushing editing as fast as possible, then immediately start streaming.
Yeah, and I didn't even have this episode planned, so I had to plan it this morning. Yeah. And it's just not ideal. So, and we've moved the stream forward, but we haven't done anything to remedy the sleep
I started
pattern.
my journey on getting up earlier today.
Yeah.
I try, when we've got time to fix it, I try and like remedy it by like increments of time.
Yeah. Which I think is the right way to do it.
I woke up half an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if I wake up half an hour earlier again, we're on the right track. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So we're getting there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So today I took the first steps and I woke up a little bit earlier than I normally wake up.
Yeah.
So I'll be maybe a little bit tireder.
Yeah.
More tired.
Yeah.
For tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're on the way.
Yeah, we're on the way. We're on the right track. Yeah, 2 till 10 would be the perfect sleeping pattern.
Yeah.
Although I feel like we need 9 hours of sleep, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we need just over 8.
Yeah.
Like 8.5 is usually because I think either I'll struggle to go to sleep a little bit, or you'll wake up at some point and struggle to go back to sleep. Yeah, you don't really struggle falling asleep.
No.
But it's if you wake up, you struggle to go back to sleep.
Yeah, because listen, our dog's a demon.
He's been good the last couple of nights, actually.
He has.
We've been going for late walks.
Yeah.
To try and poop him out.
A late one to try and
poop him out just before bed.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's worked.
It has really worked.
So we're going to keep that up. After stream tonight, straight out.
Yep.
He's old, so he doesn't need long.
No, gosh, no, he doesn't. He was panting last night.
Yeah.
We were out for what, 15 minutes?
Freezing cold.
Yeah.
And he was like,
yeah, he's got old legs.
He's just old.
So yeah, that's the updates.
Yeah.
There was certainly something I wanted to tell you about. It's escaped me. Hey,
escaped me in this moment.
My mind. I have no idea. So with that, shall we get into topic?
Yeah. Thank you so much to all our patrons over at Patreon.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
If you want to support us over at Patreon and gain access to our exclusive content,
like our D&D campaign updates and our extra monthly live streams,
click the link in the description. More about Patreon at the end of this video. Thank you. Sounds good to me, baby.
You have seen that we have done 2 previous videos on this. We have done red flags for Dungeon Masters and players, and I thought it would be really fun to do green flags for Dungeon Masters and players.
It was requested.
It was requested. It's actually been requested a couple of times.
Yeah.
So we today are doing green flags for your Dungeon Master.
Very good.
I think this is a real fun one.
Yeah.
And all of these are from the Reddit because we don't have like a form set up for it. But the first few are from you because I always say to you, like when we have these examples, like, do you have any?
Yeah.
And you do.
Think of some. So like, look, all the green flags that you could normally think of, having a session 0, not being an asshole, not inserting a DMPC that's the party leader and stuff like that, and hateful and racist and stuff like that. All of them are a given. But these are specific green flags that if I was to have a dungeon master, these are things that I would like personally.
Yeah.
These aren't gonna be fan favorites.
I can see the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I can't remember right now.
Oh, right, okay.
I wrote them at least an hour ago, so now I can't remember them.
So Jack's first one is DMs that aren't afraid to kill my character.
I've talked about this numerous times on the podcast, that if the right thing for an enemy to do in that situation is to kill my character is down in front of them. It's their last swing of their sword. They've got 2 attacks on their turn. They took me down with the first one, and they're about to end my life with the second or something like that. And they don't do it simply because the Dungeon Master doesn't want to take that away from me.
Yeah.
I then will lose interest in the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people echo that sentiment. I think a lot of people agree. And you know what? Even now, to a degree, I agree with that. Which is a big 180 on how I used to feel about it. But I agree.
I need my bad guys to act like bad guys, and I need them to if the right thing to do is for my character to die in that moment.
Yeah. If
my character doesn't die because you took pity on me.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested because then I'm like, well, what's the point? I'm never. There's to me. This is just to me. There's no stakes then.
Yeah.
There's no. Every time we have a combat, if I know that I'm just going to be able to, cheat death, I'm like, what's the point? I don't care for I know that all of it's unrealistic because it's, it's fantasy, but, that's what a bad guy would do. That's what a monster would do. Then that's what I want to happen.
Yeah,
because
no, I agree.
If it doesn't, then I'm just completely sucked out of the experience.
I agree.
Sucked.
And I'm different because now we have come to a conclusion where if my character dies and I want to bring them back, you will allow me to do that. There will be a path.
There'll be a path. There'll be an arc. There'll be a story beat where we can maybe bring someone's character back.
I know that it's not a permanent thing if I don't want it to be. So now that I have that reassurance and that understanding between us, I agree. If the right moment arises and my character were to die, I would fully trust that if I turned around to you and I said, I don't want this to be the end, you would be like, yeah, okay, we'll work something out. But I also have the option to be like, no, yeah. And I agree. Your bad guy has to be the bad guy, right? They have to. I think it's important to showcase how willing they are to do the bad thing because they're the bad guy.
So read the next one because it absolutely ties into the first one.
Well, Jack's next one is DMs who don't act mean but do act like the bad guy that they are playing. Yeah. And I think this is such an important
one. It's
distinguishation.
And players, I think, if you play at my table, you will quickly understand or quickly need to realize, or you will dislike me as a dungeon master, that I have no problem with you.
No.
I want your characters to succeed.
Yeah.
But my bad guy wants nothing less on this earth. In fact, it is almost their primary goal to make sure that you don't succeed. And if you're going to get in their way, to try and smack you out of it.
Yeah.
And dungeon masters who embody the bad guy, who play the bad guy, who do things like the bad guy, who think like the bad guy. It's like in my campaign, we haven't gotten to something on the Patreon yet, so I won't talk about it here, but they're thinking about you. They know you're a threat, and they've tried to handle that a few times.
Yeah.
They've tried to do things about you because it's they're dangerous, but they know you're dangerous, and they're not underestimating
they're not
you.
stupid, and they're also not. They're arrogant, but not to believe that they can't be.
But it's they're arrogant because they're maybe trying to put you off.
Yeah,
they're arrogant because they are trying to scare you.
They're arrogant because they know something that we don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They are. When you embody the bad guy, when you act as the bad guy, it's I need a dungeon master that does that for me.
Yeah, I agree. And again, there is. I believe there is such a fine. No, I don't even think it's a fine line. I don't even think it's a fine line. But again, I'm going to bring up this example once again. That video of that guy throwing the token. And this is kind of the other way around, right? The player was being like, oh, well, I use this. And then, oh, I had this and that. And I feel like if the DM was acting like that, and the DM was being like, and then I dunk on you and do this,
and then I Fortnite dance on you after you've lost your last death save,
and then you knew the enemy could do this, and it's there is such a difference between actually acting like the bad guy, because what's the point if the bad guy isn't bad? In my opinion,
like the bad guy needs to be bad. The
Yeah.
bad guy needs to, you know, have a plan, have a motive, have a reason, and like truly follow through as that. And if I think honestly, as a dungeon master, if your bad guy has motive and reason, and you just lean into that, even with like little things that they do, or they really care about this thing. So in combat, they show that they protect this. This is something that they want. It's just like you're making your bad guy like so three-dimensional. You're like fleshing them out so much. Like they care and they have reason and motive and stuff like that.
And I think how you do this, how, like, you know, first of all, we all trust you and we know how you play a bad guy, etc. But how you do this is you kind of narrate what's going through the enemy's mind. Someone does a really big heal, you go, they look at you and they don't like the fact that you have bolstered your allies and they're going to target you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like talking through like that. So we know it's never you as Jack, it's your enemy looking. And, you know, we've played with a player before who did things like that. And when the DM targeted them because they were an intelligent, also spell-using creature, and they could recognize that this person was also that, and they wanted to try and break their concentration, the player got really upset. And was like, "You're, I can't believe you're targeting me." And it's like,
I'm targeting you.
Of course. And I think that's the distinct. What's the word?
The distinction.
I was saying distinguished them, but distinguished. Distinguisher.
Yeah.
Distinction?
Like, and distinction, yeah. So, like, and that's the thing. Like, let's just say that the bad guy, you're in the bad guy's domain, and there's a door, and whatever they care about is through the door. Oh, I go over and I just check these door handles. The bad guy instantly turns, looks at you, all attacks are on you next round.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, now we know there's something behind the door that they want.
Exactly.
That's really important to them. It's like you're telling a story through action.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And like just things like that are just really important.
Yeah, I completely agree. And your last one is DMs who leave sessions on a cliffhanger.
Just for me. Like, and I do this all the time.
You fucking do,
because it's just something I just love.
Yeah, we
do
too.
Like leaving it on an ambiguous or scary or like almost like it's your turn, it's your last death save, we're out of combat now, but it's your turn in combat. And we'll leave that for next week.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, like that is, to me, that's just like, man, I can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
I already want it to be Wednesday next week. I couldn't think of anything that I want to do more right now. And like, that is so important to me to give to my players. Like, when I finish a session and the words that come out of people's mouth as soon as I say, and that's all finished today.
No.
And they either go, no, or they go, ooh.
We always go, no.
Yeah, and that's what I want. Like, and you know, when you finish a Netflix show and they know exactly how to do it, you just want to watch the next one. And then you want to watch the next one. It's because they leave it on something where you're like, oh, I want to finish. You can't finish every single one on it because it's just impossible because you don't have that many plot hooks that get explored every session.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like if you can, oh my god,
I agree.
It makes my mouth water.
Yeah, I agree. We love it. We love a cliffhanger. We love and hate a cliffhanger because we want to play it immediately. The amount of times we're like, can we just go for another 10 minutes, please?
Nope. And we'll pick up there next week.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
They're green flags for me.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Not afraid to kill my character. A DM who like doesn't play mean but plays as the bad guy and is like, you know, rough about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Things that I love as a player.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, all of the ones that I thought are covered in the rest of these posts. But one for me, I think, is a DM who is happy to be the adjudicator. A DM who is happy to be able to see that there's conflict or that there's disagreements or there's something that needs the high overlord to rule on and isn't afraid to do that.
Yeah.
A DM who isn't afraid to have the conversations. If someone is being a problem player, they're not afraid to gently have a conversation. If the group dynamic is funky, not afraid to do that. But basically a DM who isn't afraid to communicate for better or for worse.
See, it's tough for me because we don't really have any problems.
No, we don't.
Like, I think we've only ever had one problem ever. about people telling each other how to play the game.
Yeah.
Like maybe being like, no, don't do that and stuff like that. And like literally at the beginning of the next session, I was like, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we just don't. Like, it's just not something that we do at this table. I don't like it as a dungeon master, and I don't want anyone to want to do something and then feel like they can't.
Yeah.
And literally, that was probably like over a year ago.
Well over a year ago.
It's never happened ever again.
Well over a year ago.
And every single time somebody goes to do something, and maybe somebody doesn't like think it's a good idea, they go,
If you want to.
If you want to, it's up to you. You do what you want.
I agree. And, you know, I've only had to have 2 private conversations with people before. For kind of, the first one I think was maybe on your behalf too, but the second one was absolutely on my behalf.
Yeah.
And it was solved, hey, immediately.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely immediately.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think, you know, we are so lucky that we found the people that we love playing D&D with.
Yeah,
and
I think we are lucky. I think we are very lucky.
Forever,
yeah.
I think. And, but yeah, I you know, we've had DMs in the past who just don't care, who just don't want to get involved and just put their hands up. And I just think, and I'm not saying that it's the DM's responsibility, but I think a lot of times we've had this conversation before. Unfortunately, a lot of it does, people turn to the DM in moments like that and need the DM to be able to step up to the plate, I think, too. Because the DM's ultimately the person who has to do the rulings, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my green flag.
That is so fair.
A DM who can step in and
adjudicate.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the Reddits?
So this first one is, when your DM says, "Why is your character this way? Tell me how they think and what is going on in their mind."
That's a good one, yeah. Because like I think when you have tough character concepts, or like not tough, like character concepts that are a little bit maybe left field, character concept that could maybe even be not controversial, but like potentially hard to get along with, like being like, okay, that's fine, but you tell me why.
Yeah,
like,
why? What's happened?
And you know, if there's an actual reason for it, it's like then I can help you.
Yeah.
Like if, and I think if the dungeon master trusts that player, the rest of the table can trust that player.
I completely agree.
It's like Josh at the beginning of this campaign.
It's like Josh's character, yeah.
It's like Josh at the beginning of the campaign. It's like his character was, you know,
very different to any character
very
he's
different
ever played.
He's ever played before.
Yeah.
Avalor was not tough to get along with, but like deadpan,
yeah.
cold,
stoic,
standoffish almost.
Yeah.
Like a little bit abrupt and almost sometimes a little bit mean.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said to him, you're going to be fine because I know exactly why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And if they think that I know, they will trust you.
And we did. And you know what? And the thing is, Josh also made it very clear. He was like, just trust me.
Yeah.
And we were all like, yeah, okay. And we did, and it was fine.
It was great.
Right? Like, you know, ultimately it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm being cryptic there. But it was fine.
It was fine.
And yeah, I think a DM that asks at any point, beforehand, before the character's even created, in the game, after, I think saying, what is your character thinking is such a powerful thing for a DM to use.
And, you know, I want to be standoffish lone wolf. Okay. Why is your character like that?
Yeah.
Like, explain to me why your character's a lone wolf. And how they are.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I think a lot of dungeon masters just hear the lone wolf thing and they go, oh. But if you get into their mindset and like, okay, you're a lone wolf. I don't know, because you're like Mowgli. You were literally fucking raised by wolves in a jungle or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like, okay, cool. Like that's a great character concept, and I can get onto it, and I can begin to like show the party through storytelling. What? You okay?
I'm sorry. I was trying everything in my soul not to go, look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about copyright struck.
But like, yeah, the dungeon master can then help you tell the story.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times, like, lone wolves don't know how to break out of it and don't understand the moment that they tell the story.
Yeah, I agree. What
on just earth? The wind. Just the wind.
Just the wind. Gosh. So just for context for what I just heard, I think the window must be slightly open. Behind me.
Or is the vents at the top?
And I just heard.
Yeah, but it's just the vents.
Behind me. Spooky.
But I think a Dungeon Master can really help a Lone Wolf, can really help a lawful good Paladin.
I agree.
Like, break those walls down and let the party understand that they understand, so you should understand.
I think in a lot of ways, your DM can help you tell your story no matter what.
I think it's really important to have the Dungeon Master help a character tell the story.
I agree. And I think that's why our characters are so well received by everyone, because everyone gives you a really strong character concept.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a concept, right? You are really clued in to how our characters think and act and feel, I think. And you help with that. And you know, it's things like when you just give us like a dream sequence that only our character sees, right? But the rest of the table are there. The table knows that this has happened. So the table have a higher understanding of what's going on with your character, you know?
Yeah.
You even just call for a certain check that we have no idea what it's relevant to, but because you know that character's backstory, you go, you would know that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's things like that.
Yeah.
And I think your DM, honestly, at any point just saying, what are they feeling and why are they acting like that?
Yeah.
I think is a huge green flag.
Because let's just take like Abby's character, you know, claustrophobic for a reason.
Yes.
But then like, you know, Dale's in this place and, you know, it's quite small and quite tight walled and she begins to like get a little bit jittery. And then I say, and why is that? And then, you know, she gets to, out of character, explain maybe a little detail that the party then go, oh.
Yeah. Or you go, Dale, you're starting to feel claustrophobic. And then Abby will act out as Dale, and then all of our characters will go, oh my God, Dale, what's going on? And then Dale has the chance to say something, you know?
I mean, then everyone's on the same page. You're on the same page, that player's on the same page, and then everybody else gets a modicum of understanding as to why or how they're feeling.
Yeah, totally.
I agree. I love it.
I think that's a big green flag.
Great job.
Yeah. The next green flag is a DM who is open to spells being used in an unconventional way that aren't game breaking or intended to cheat the system.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And my favorite thing to do in that moment is, let's just say it's a bard.
Yeah.
Okay, bard tries to use a spell in an unconventional way that the spell isn't made for, but it's not that stupid.
Yeah.
It's not like game-breakingly stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I want to control water, and because you're 77% water, I make you die. Like that's just stupid. Yeah. Like that's just taking the spell and making it stupid. Yeah. I use heat metal, and because there's iron in your blood, I make your blood boil.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But
stupid.
then when they're not that stupid, but you want to push the bounds of the spell a little bit.
Yeah.
I just ask for roll a d20 and add your spellcasting modifier.
Yep.
Sometimes it's not even spellcasting modifier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you're a bard. Okay, roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
Well, I mean, you know, a perfect example of this was, no spoilers, there was a moment where Dale wasn't with us. Physically, she wasn't with us. Mentally, she wasn't with us. And she needed to succeed something. And I was like, can I please try and bardically inspire her? I know that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I know it has to be that isn't how it worked in that moment.
Yeah.
But because of how thematic it was, and because Blythe and Dale have like this mental connection and are able to do that, you were like, yeah, okay. And that's something that, you know, rules was written. I shouldn't have been able to do that.
No, but
thematically,
didn't you cast sending?
I cast sending to bardically inspire her.
You know, you cast sending to give her a bardic inspiration dice, and it's just like that's not how it works. But we let it work that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think I made you roll a charisma save or something, or a charisma like a check.
Yeah.
To allow, if you succeed, it for it to go through.
Yeah, she had to succeed the charisma check, I think. And you know, I gave up a third level spell and a bardic inspiration dice to do it. You know?
Yeah, and it's like that's not how bardic inspiration works. But in that moment, I think it's a really cool concept and a cool idea.
Yeah.
That like that whole situation hinged on Dale, and Dale was alone.
Yeah.
But I'll allow you to do it, costing a third level spell and a bardic inspiration if you succeed a check.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like if it's just out the bounds of what it should be able to do, just let the dice tell the story. Like, are you far enough along in your journey as a bard, as a paladin, as a druid, as a cleric? Okay, let's see. Roll a d20, add your wisdom modifier. Roll a d20, add your charisma modifier.
Yeah.
This is the DC that I think is appropriate. If you do it, yes, the spell goes beyond its bounds, and is successful.
Yeah.
If not, it fails. But at least I was given the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think this almost falls into rule of cool territory. And I think rule of cool gets so much hate online because I think it's similar to like metagaming, right? And railroading. I think rule of cool is something that has been kind of, well, obviously everyone has their own interpretations of things, but rule of cool has been twisted into this like, yeah, the DM lets anything fly just because they like the sound of it.
It's soft. It's not hard enough anymore.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, why even play with rules if you're not going to respect them?
And just like, we can... So you're... Like, what I don't get about the argument is, and it definitely applies to a lot of situations, is I play by the rules 99% of the time, but then I break it for 1 second. So you're telling me, because I broke it for 1 second to allow somebody to do something cool, I should just take the rules and throw them out the window because I'm not following them for that 1 second.
Yeah,
and it's the same.
It's like an ultimatum thing.
Yeah, and it's the same bullshit that you get all the time with, oh, I really like this rule. Oh, hey, that's from Pathfinder. D&D players just want to play Pathfinder. Why don't you just play Pathfinder? It's just like, I play D&D 5e because I love it, and I think that Pathfinder has some cool rulings, so I put some of them into my game now and then.
Yeah.
Does that mean I should completely learn a new system for that one rule?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're just an idiot.
Yeah, I know. People love to talk in absolutes. It is the issue. But I think this is on the same spectrum of rule of cool, right?
Agree.
Of being able to be like, okay, all right, I can see what you're getting at here. It makes sense what you're asking of me here, and I'm willing to work with you. I'm not saying that it's going to be a complete success, but I'm at least going to let you try.
I'm going to at least give you not an unbelievably high DC.
Yeah.
I honestly, in those moments, sometimes I just like to leave it to a 50-50.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I sometimes I'll leave it to an odds or an evens.
Yeah.
Like, it's up to fate in this moment what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe it's just like, it's a low DC. Like, let's just say, sometimes I just like being like, what's your charisma modifier? Oh, it's 4. Okay. DC's 14, then roll a 10 or higher.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at that point, we're just fucking seeing what the game wants to tell us.
And you know what? It's fun to do the things.
I agree.
It's fun to be allowed to kind of stretch like the bounds of things to do something cool, because most of the time, you know, I can only speak in my own opinion and experience. Most of the time when we try to do things like this, it's because it's a really clutch situation. Things are really tense. Things are going bad in a combat. We need something to happen. And I think that's when we start to, as players, ask these questions of, well, if I do this, could I try and have it work like that? You know? And again, I think what OP's saying here, that like isn't intended to cheat the system, is also a really good distinction.
Yeah.
In this too.
Like heat metal boiling ironing.
Exactly.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that one. I think that's a
great one. I love that one.
Yeah. This next green flag is kind of similar to what I said. Willing to stop play and ask what is wrong if a player seems uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, and you know, that's why we have safety tools. Because if somebody is uncomfortable, it's like allowing them to just signify that they are.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, sorry, like, what about the situation is making you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually just this bit. Okay, we take that bit out and we still play the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everybody's just having a better time.
Yep.
Like, I just don't see anything wrong with, like, if somebody for some reason is just uncomfortable or just not having a good time, why we can't, because most of the time it's not like this entire campaign is the problem. It's like some small thing that we could probably change to something else, like very quickly.
Absolutely.
I don't know, maybe they're a spider and they don't like spiders.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's a crap.
Yeah, and again, you know, there was a TikTok by I think their username is like a little goblin girl or something like that. I mentioned it ages ago. She didn't realize something was a trigger until it came up, and when it did come up, she simply turned to her DM and said, "Hey, this is making me uncomfortable, and I didn't realize it was an issue. Could we do something?" And the DM was like, "Oh my god, yes, of course." Suddenly, this is this, or this didn't happen. And you know, I think that is a really important thing. And you know, I also think if a player is, let's say there's player on player conflict, another player's being mean, talking over, intentionally saying crude stuff to someone, and the DM can see it, and the DM's willing to be like, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, stop that."
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
hit him with a Brandon.
Like, what are your intentions with this? But just realizing that maybe somebody doesn't find a joke like super funny. It's just like, okay, hey, like, I know you find it funny, but somebody else isn't. Let's just fucking cool it down.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
it's just, you know, like, I think, And, you know, I think in D&D parties, like, there's loads of fucking jokes, man. And, like, we make jokes about each other all the time, constantly. And it's just because we all do it in good faith, just to have a little bit of a laugh. But, you know, sometimes, like, some people can just not understand that, like, somebody's finding it uncomfortable. Or even finding it fucking annoying.
Yeah, totally. Because, you know, a joke can go too far.
A joke can go too far all the time. So somebody just being like, hey, okay, like...
all right, let's move on.
Let's move on. That's enough of that joke.
Yeah. And I think, you know, being able to willing to stop play, like, in the moment, be able to deal with it. And also, I think, again, you know, after the fact, be able to check in and make sure everything's okay. Yeah. I think that is really responsible green flag behavior.
Green flag energy.
I also don't think that extends just to the DM, to be honest with you. I think this extends to
the
everyone
players
at the
as
table.
Well. Yeah. Like, if you see somebody, like, maybe even the Dungeon Master feeling uncomfortable with jokes that people are making about the campaign or something like that, being like, all right, come on now. GFE. Green flag energy.
Oh, nice. Green flag energy.
Hit him with a GFE.
Nice. I like it.
A GFE.
Yeah, nice. Watch out, I'm going to GFE.
Watch out, I'm going to GFE.
Nice. I like it. Oh my God,
I'm about to GFE.
I like it. All right, this next one is willing to help the players adjust their characters if they aren't enjoying themselves anymore. For example, changing subclasses, altering details, or even changing characters completely.
Yeah. Like, such a big one, especially with new players.
God,
100%. Experienced players will probably just know what they like and don't like, and you probably won't have to do this, like, very often.
Yeah.
But with new players in the game, like, they start playing a class thinking it's going to be something.
Yeah.
Then quickly realizing that, yeah, it might live up to the fantasy, but I hate the gameplay loop.
Yes, absolutely.
Or actually, I actually like the way it plays, I just hate the fantasy of it, or something like that. Or just not liking it at all. Like, a lot of people don't realize that when they get into games like Paladins do now but smite, or Warlocks don't feel great if you don't get lots of long rests.
Yep.
Short rests, sorry.
Yeah.
Wizards are fucking hard to play and complicated, and like, I'm in over my head with all of these spells and stuff like that.
Druids, God, I don't understand their wild shapes. All
and
these
the
beasts
and being a prepared spellcaster.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and then you not allowing them to change for honestly no reason is bad.
Yeah, and the thing is, I can sympathize with the DMs who are like, oh God, but I've got a really important plot point tied to your character.
Tell them that, then.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to have that communication. And because something like similar happened to us in a campaign that we played.
Yeah, it did, for me.
There was a point where we were just not enjoying our characters at all because we were inexperienced. And me, personally built my character like bullshit. And I didn't realize at the time that I really like min-maxing.
Yeah.
That's something that I enjoy. I enjoy feeling strong. So
you enjoy doing lots of damage.
Hey, yeah, I'm a DPS. What can I say? And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed to change my stats. I wasn't allowed to change my race. I wasn't allowed to change anything about my character.
Yeah.
There was a point where even multi-classing was kind of up in the air, right?
Which I do get.
Like, no, I get that as well.
Inexperienced Dungeon
and, you know,
Masters.
that is no shade to my DM at all. It's just, those were mistakes that I had made.
Yeah.
That I had no frame of reference, right?
So mine was slightly different because somebody in our game changed subclass. And
I was
like, okay, cool, like, because we were all brand new at the game.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, I would really like to change class because I'm not enjoying my class, or I want to change subclass. And I was told no, but I found out later it was because because I was the only one who thought of a backstory.
Yeah.
I was intrinsically tied to the plot of the campaign.
Exactly, and a lot of it hinged on that.
The Dungeon Master just told me no.
Yes.
When really they should have said, hey, there's a reason why you can't change.
So let's
work
stick it out
together.
And it will be worth it.
Let's figure something out. Let's find a reason why you don't like it.
Yeah, and even then, me personally, I believe even the whole like, hey, let's stick it out thing. I think there's always things you can do to change, right, and to make things. You know, even something as simple, to be honest, in my opinion, is changing a subclass. You know, I understand how changing a class can seem kind of extreme to some people, not to me personally, but I think you should always work together so the player and the DM are happy and enjoying themselves.
I completely agree. Especially new players.
Especially new players.
And it's just like, it's not that I wouldn't do it for a experienced player. with an experienced player, they probably picked a class, and there's just maybe something about it they're not
Yeah,
liking.
yeah.
So we could maybe change that with like an ability change.
Yeah, or a magic item.
Or
Yeah.
like, you know, this comes back on a long rest.
Yeah.
Right, okay, now it comes back on a short rest once per day.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? Things like that, just quality of lives to just like make it fit a little better.
Yeah.
Like usually with experienced players, that's what they want over an
a whole
class change.
class change.
But
Yeah.
with new players, like, expect class changes, expect subclass changes.
I completely agree.
Expect, because they don't know, and like how would they know?
How would they know?
How would they know?
Yeah, they're not. How would they're not gonna know?
They're not gonna know.
How would they know?
How would they know?
Yeah, I agree, and I think having a DM who is willing to, who is able to see this as well and be like, hey, let's talk about it, or even just if the player comes to them and goes, I'm really not enjoying my character. How many times do we get stories or advice for requests from people being like, I just want to kill my character off because like, I don't like playing them.
I want to write my character out of the plot and stuff like that, because I don't want to play them. It's just like, you should never get to that point. You should just, we play the games to have fun.
Yeah, but I also do think, if you think your character's kind of come to the end, you should be able to turn to your DM and say, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think it's time for that. I'd like to play a new character. I'd like to retire this one, whether they die, whether they just retire,
whether
and
they
turn
just
into
hang
an
up
NPC.
their adventuring boots.
Exactly. I think the willingness to work together like that is the most important part.
I completely agree.
I think that's a big green flag.
But and also, I would say on the other hand, like there is people who just get bored of their character instantly,
of course,
and want to change every like couple of sessions, and it's just like, that's not for me. Personally, I will help you, like, enjoy your character, and I will build on foundations of story that you create. And if you are just switching characters every 5 minutes, like we just aren't. compatible.
I think you know, there's a range of limit for everything, right? You know, there's the spectrum, there's each end of it, and then there's also thresholds within it which are acceptable and unacceptable, you know, and I think that is a good example of what is an unacceptable level of this, is someone who, you know, every couple of sessions is like, no, actually I'm going to change. I'm going to change.
In fact, I want to play this.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah. The next one is asking for feedback after a session to make sure that they're enjoying themselves.
Oh my god, Stars and Wishes.
Stars and Wishes.
Oh my god, Stars and Wishes. We love Stars and Wishes here. Stars and Wishes is brilliant because you can find out things that they enjoyed about the session and things that they would like to see more of.
Yeah.
It's like you are literally win-winning there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I really enjoyed the combat today. And hey, like that thing that you touched on with that NPC, I'd like some more of that. That really interests me. It's like, okay, they found something that they loved about my session, and then found something that they were so interested in that they want to see more of it. It's just like, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Like, feedback, especially for a new DM, new players, a new group. You could be a very experienced DM, but have a new group of also experienced players. It takes a while to find your groove.
Yeah, it does.
It takes a while to understand if you even like playing with each other, right? So feedback is such an important thing, and
a huge thing.
I think there's a level of I don't know what the word is.
Pride.
I
think
the opposite, like modesty, humbleness.
Humblewood. Sorry.
There's a level of a DM being able to be like, okay, give me your feedback, and being open to potentially receiving criticism and willing to accept criticism. I don't know what the word for that is, right? Humility, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It's a good word for it.
Like, there's a level of, hey, I want to hear it because I want to make sure that we're all having a good time. Yeah. You know? There's a level of vulnerability, maybe.
Earnest.
There. Yeah, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. And I completely agree. And I think, like, I've never done Stars and Wishes personally.
Yeah.
And maybe I should. But the thing is, my players are just so open at telling me.
Yeah, we're so vocal about it.
That combat was sick.
Yeah.
Oh man, that plot thread, can't wait to like talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, Jack, great storytelling. That like wrapped that up like amazing. And I'm just like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
Yeah, and you know, some players aren't as vocal as that. And
I think which is probably why Stars and Wishes is a thing.
Yeah, and you know, I think everyone would benefit from Stars and Wishes, even yourself, just to find out, like, I think we are great at being like, we love that. So, you know, I don't necessarily think you need any stats.
I don't know if I'd get anything. I don't know if I'd get anything new. Is my issue.
But you know, wishes. You never know. You never know what people might want to see more.
But
of.
I'm also a dungeon master who, at the beginning of the campaign, right? You tell me a story.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me the story. Okay, which parts of this are you interested in? Where do you want this to go? What things would you like to explore?
Yeah.
Already talking about the next campaign. I've been doing it for months.
Yeah.
Like,
more dogs.
Where?
I want to see more dogs.
You want to see more dogs?
I want to see more dogs. I want to pet more dogs.
Okay,
how about that?
More dogs. Okay. It's like, but Margaret, in the next campaign, I want a wedding.
Yeah.
There you go, done. I want a ghost ship. Other people have said, I want to go to other planes of existence and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I am so frequently asking people what they want from my game.
I want a ball. I want a masquerade.
You want a masquerade ball? There you go. It's just like all these things that people want.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't like, I want to tell them a story that they're going to be interested in. I have to be interested in it too, but I find my interest in things that you've already told me.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I like, I want a ghost ship. Okay, I've already thought about like plot threads that interest me about ghost ships.
Yeah.
I've already thought about plot threads that interest me about weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll find ways to enjoy the things that you want me to explore.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, I think a DM being able to kind of put their heart in their sleeve and say, hey, yeah, let's get some feedback in here.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard because, listen, when you're DMing, especially if you're telling like a homebrew world, hey, even if you're running a module, it's still something that kind of comes from within you, and it's kind of a reflection of yourself.
Completely agree.
And doing anything creative and having other people put their opinions into your personal creative thing is really tough.
I know the bad guy did this, but I feel like I would enjoy it more if X, Y, and Z. And it's just like that can sometimes be hard to hear.
Bit stings.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and it's just like, and it's not that you're doing a bad job, but it's like you did ask for feedback, and this is their feedback.
Yeah,
like I would have enjoyed it if the plot thread went this way, and it's just like, well, I wouldn't have done that. And it's, do you want to know what? Opening yourself up to that criticism is hard, and you are you're a strong person, in my opinion, if you can do that. I completely agree.
I think anyone, honestly, who is willing to open themselves up to feedback like this, especially for, you know, D&D, it to me is a sign of a good communicator and someone who wants everyone to have a good time. And that, to be honest, I think that is one of the biggest, I was going to say red flags.
Oh my God, get out of here. Red flag.
To me, that is one of the biggest green flags kind of on this list, to be
honest.
GFE. GFE!
Big GFE.
Green flag energy.
Hitting them with the GFE. I agree.
Yeah. All right. We, you know what? I was like, God, this is long, but we took a 10 minute.
We took a 10 minutes so you could go to the toilet.
Dookie soup. All right. This next one is DMs that take small fun interactions or ideas that the players have and they tie it in as NPCs or items.
Yeah. Love that.
I love that.
I do love that. Like when like little details get just it doesn't even have to become a big thing, but just like little details in people's backstories or little details in like interactions with NPCs.
Totally that are
like,
remembered
and just turn into maybe just like something more. Do you want to know what? I think it's when they turn into something sentimental.
I completely agree.
Like I personally love being a sentimental DM.
Same. Yeah,
like,
same.
I think that like oh, this little thing that happened 10 sessions ago, well, hey, here it is. And it's not that it's a massive thing, but I mean, I know exactly what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, something happened with Roveres from, God, session 1, session 2, to do with, like, a little statue that he has. Just ended up becoming, like, he kept mentioning it, and then Matthew kept mentioning it, and then the party kept mentioning it, and then I was like, okay.
They care about this.
I'm going to make it a thing for them, like, and for Roveret. And, you know, and I think it just had more weight.
Yeah.
Because I just listened to something that you care about.
I agree. And that, you know, God, you know, I'm emotional just thinking about it. And I think that is the impact of when you listen to your players and you listen to what they care about. OP said it perfectly. Small, fun interactions or ideas. And you take that small little thing and you memorialize it in a way. I think, again, everyone is different. But for me, I'm a very sentimental person, especially when it comes to things like that. And that's a really big thing for me. And I think it's a big thing for all of us at the table. I think it really means a lot to everyone. there was something that you had planned for one of the characters and that kind of didn't come to fruition in the way that it was supposed to. I would argue it came to fruition better in the end. But you thought of this character, okay, what do they love? Who do they love? What's their goals? Okay, this is going to happen to this person, but I'm going to make sure that it is memorialized in this way. And that's really, really important, I think. So DMs that are willing to take the stupid, fun fart buckle. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fucking
fart buckle!
Fat buckle.
Oh my god!
Like, come on, like it sounds so stupid, but fat buckle.
Fat buckle, genuinely. Like,
and I think I don't know, but I feel like the whole like fat buckle came from like the line "I've been liberated."
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't know if that's the actual canon story, but they found them like in a cage.
Yeah.
And then like took them out and then made them part of the party, and then.
Oh my god! Oh my god! If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go on D&D TikTok and search Fat Buckle, please. And you know, stupid little Fat Buckle with the name Fat Buckle.
And then Fat Buckle is just like the play, and yeah, it's just like. And do you want to know what? Sometimes, like you said, I had an idea in my campaign, and because of a choice that somebody made in our campaign, like I just basically took my idea, scrumpled it up, threw it out the window, and then just went, okay. like because of the campaign, it's like, yeah, I think my ideas are good. That's why I think I'm a good. I feel like there's a level of like self-assuredness with the Dungeon Master.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, yeah, I think my players have told me they enjoy my storytelling, so I like give it my all.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where like a player's choice, especially in this campaign, affected my storytelling so much. I took my story for that. I threw it out the window and I was like, now it's this.
Yeah.
And it hit so much harder.
It did.
Because of that choice.
It did. It really did.
And that's called collaboration.
Yeah, I agree. The DM can't take those small fun interactions and make them something if the players aren't creating those moments in the first place, completely. Right? And you know, another good example of this is Dale on the ship being like, is there a treasure map? And you being like, yeah. Hey, you know what? Yeah, there is a treasure map actually. Yeah. And I think for your DM to listen, this proves to me that your DM is listening to you, cares about you, wants to create lasting things for you, and commemorate you in a way. Yeah. And I love that. I think that's a really important thing to me personally as a player. Yeah. In a DM. Mm. Right. This is the penultimate. There's one at the end. There's one at the end which is a funny one. I don't necessarily agree with how this is worded, but I kind of agree with the sentiment. Okay. Is DMs that are willing to admit when they're wrong and reward those that they have wronged. Now, the end part, I don't necessarily agree with.
Reward people that they've wronged?
Yeah, I think maybe a better way to, in my opinion, word that is admit that they've done something wrong and be able to go to those players and rectify it.
Have the humility to be like, yeah, totally. Hey, messed up.
Yeah, and you know, not reward, I think. Rectify.
Rectify, yeah.
A word that I would prefer to use.
Yes. And I remember there was one point in last campaign where this happened to me with Abby. And it was about the cloak thing. It was a small thing. It was a small thing. And like, this is just getting to learn your players. Like, totally. Abby doesn't really give a damn about like anything other than how her character looks.
So yeah, she's like, it's very important to her that the aesthetic of her character is reflected perfectly from her mind's eye.
Like she, like honestly, could like down her in every combat and literally like.
Yep, she couldn't give less of a fuck.
She couldn't care. Like as long as her character looks exactly how like she wants, is like a reflection of what she thinks like
absolutely
she should look like and stuff like
that,
which
is very valid, and by the way.
In the second campaign, like she was taking something like a very minor magical item and trying to like adjust it in a specific way so it could like be a part of her ensemble.
Yes.
And I thought she was trying to like do something a little cheesy with it.
Yeah.
I misunderstood, came back the next week and I was like, hey, you know that thing that you were talking about? Absolutely happens. Like, I think I just read the situation wrong.
Yeah, because basically she was just trying to like in thematically in game have a reason for her character to have an outfit change. And she basically just wanted to sew a hood of like a minor magical item onto like a poncho thing.
Yeah.
And Jack thought she wanted to carry over the enchantment from the magic item.
Care about the enchantment.
She just wanted the hood.
Yeah.
And because both of you didn't communicate exactly what was going on in that moment, it led to a situation where you were like, well, no, you don't succeed doing that. And she's like,
oh, why not?
Why would I not succeed doing that?
Because like but that was the thing. She didn't let me know that she didn't care about the enchantment.
Exactly, and you didn't know that you were thinking about the enchantment.
And I was the only thing that I was thinking about was the enchantment. So from now on, like, you know, I'll let anybody. I've come to terms with like, the way that Margaret's character look and Abby's character looks are important to them.
Yes.
So when I give out magic items, I'm just like, this is what it does. You tell me what it looks like.
Exactly.
Like, because I don't care.
Yeah, the other two.
Yeah.
The other three really couldn't give a fuck.
But
right?
like, I'll give them the magic item and I'll say, like, you let me know if you want to change it.
Yeah.
But most of the time they don't. They want to keep sort of what I've given them.
Yeah.
And that's just communication and understanding your players.
Absolutely. Well. Yeah, I completely agree.
But yeah, I think I was in the wrong there, and the next week I apologized.
I think that was more of a misunderstanding, to be honest.
But I still wanted to.
Yeah, you still did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you know, your DM isn't going to get everything right. God, no. Like, no one can get everything right all the time. Like, that's going to happen. And your DMs sometimes, your DM's a person. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Spoiler. Your DM's a person. And as humans, we can act out in frustration. We can act out with confusion. We can make a ruling and then stew over the next week, 2 weeks, month.
Yeah.
Until you play D&D again over the decision and then want to change their mind. And I think a DM being able to make a decision and then go, nah, that was wrong actually, or I said something out of frustration and, you know, I take it back.
Yeah.
And I think this is a two-way street.
Yeah,
I think it's very important that players do this too. But yeah.
And I do think, like, in moments where you have to make a decision as a dungeon master, never be afraid to openly walk it back.
Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't matter if you got something wrong or, like, okay, that's the way it's working this week. And then as you go on, you're like, I sort of wish I didn't do that. At the beginning of the top of next session, you just go, hey, that decision I made last week, not how it works anymore. This is how it works.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
no one cares.
No one cares.
We're allowed to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
We're allowed to get things wrong.
Absolutely.
Like, nobody else at the table has that pressure that you have.
Yeah.
So you are allowed to change your mind.
To be fair, like, kind of on the same kind of topic as this, I saw a lot of DMs who were willing to be corrected. And I think I agree to a level. I think as long as it's like, if the DM goes, oh, this is the radius, and the player goes, oh, actually, I think it's this radius, I think that's good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think there is a limit with a DM being corrected because there's so many things you as a player just don't know what's going on with the DM.
So I think that, like, if it's, you know, things that the Dungeon Master has just gotten wrong, then fine. It's like, oh, fireball's a 30-meter radius. And it's it's 20-meter radius.
Oh, it's 66, not 86 or whatever.
Yeah. It's just like things like that. It's just like, that's totally fine to just remind your Dungeon Master about. But, like, if it's a homebrew thing, if it's something that, like, they're making a decision about in the moment, and you're trying to correct them because of other, like, factors, it's just like, I'm trying to make a ruling here on the fly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just didn't know. I didn't know if the camera was on there because the mirror wasn't in the right place.
Wow, my heart fell into my asshole there.
No.
Jeez.
But yeah, like, you know, like, if you're trying to argue against a ruling that somebody is making on the fly because there isn't actually, like, true clarification for it, it's just like, then why are you arguing?
Yeah.
It's like, people are just trying to make the best decision in that moment.
That's why I didn't want to put it in here, because I'm assuming there's a lot of DMs watching this right now, and I don't want, you know, I to be fair, we should have said this kind of at the top of the episode. Like, I don't want you to think that just because we think these are green flags and we're like, oh yeah, you should do this, doesn't mean that if you don't want to do any of these things, you don't have to.
Yeah.
This is just a nice way to recognize good things
that we like,
DMs do, and that we like.
Exactly.
And I didn't want to put that one in specifically, because that, in my opinion, is kind of like a fine line.
Because I think there's also a big rhetoric around, like, experienced players versus new DMs.
Yes.
It's like, some new DMs don't want your opinion.
Yes,
like they
absolutely.
want trial by fire,
and they're very valid in wanting
they
that.
want to be like, if I'm gonna survive this, I want to do it on my own.
Absolutely.
I want to do it on my own merit, and that is
Absolutely.
so fair.
If I need your help, I will just ask you.
Yeah, if I need your help, I'll ask you.
Yeah,
like you don't tell me, I'll ask you.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I've got a really good connection with my players now, and it's usually Matthew and Josh.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm more than happy to get rules lawyered.
Yeah.
Because I know that nobody's doing it in bad faith.
No.
People are doing it to just be like, hey, just so you know,
absolutely
this.
And yeah,
and then I can go,
agree.
Yeah, okay. Like because I know that nobody's doing it because they like think they're smarter than me or think that I'm doing a bad job.
Yeah.
It's purely to try and I like running a fair game for everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I like playing by the rules because that's just something I enjoy.
Yeah.
And like I'll break them and I'll allow players to break them if I think it's a fitting moment to do so. So if you want to rules lawyer me, you can only rules lawyer me if I know your intentions are good.
I completely agree.
And like we're on the same page.
I think that goes for I think that goes for everyone. I think
completely agree.
It's okay to kind of be like, oh, is this how this works? There's a way to do it. There is certainly a way to do it. And new DMs, you are so valid in not wanting to have experienced people telling you how to do things. Just because they know mechanically and technically more than you does not mean that creatively they are going to make the right decisions for you in your game. And I think there's this whole like, respect your elders thing, and it's like,
shut up.
Yeah, I don't
earn my respect. Don't tell me I have to respect you.
I don't subscribe to that at all.
Fucking shut up.
All right, the last one before the actual last one. Fucking around. Seriously, when I see a DM not caring about small rules and cracking jokes and allowing people to mess around is a godsend. A lot of DMs get caught up in wanting to make a perfect game for perfect players and don't really realize that the game is meant to be fun, and at its core, it is a game that will have flaws. One of my current DMs jokes with us, listens to us, and actually talks to us outside of the game for friendly chats, and jokey, low-key environment makes me feel comfortable expressing myself in roleplay.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more personally. And this is something that I do try and get across to people like from this podcast, I think, and on stream. It's like everyone wants to write an epic adventure. Sorry, it's just the wind.
I see. It sounded like him licking himself.
No, it's not. Everyone wants to write this epic adventure and everybody wants it to be this most like unbelievable storytelling and stuff like that. And it's just like that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
To put on yourself. So, like, you can if you want, but at the end of the day, just enjoy yourself. Like, turn up to Dungeons & Dragons, have a laugh with your mates. If your storytelling is inconsistent in any way, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You're just a fucking person who's trying to Dungeon Master in their spare time.
Yeah.
You're not a novel writer. You're not Matthew Mercer.
Yeah.
You're not Brennan Lee Mulligan. You're not Tolkien. You're not any of these people. It's like you can still tell a beautifully crafted,
and
brilliant
it's not
story.
saying, by the way, that you can't reach those heights, because you certainly can.
You could reach those heights. Who's no? You might be the next like big thing. Like, and I never want you to like not live up to that. And like, and if you have that potential to like reach that potential, if you are that, brilliant. But don't beat yourself up if you're not.
No, God, no.
You turn up to D&D to have a good time with your mates and have a fucking laugh. And like, if you're having a laugh and everyone wants to turn up every week to laugh with you and joke with you and just have a good time,
totally,
then you as a dungeon master are doing a fucking great job.
Yeah, and I think a good example of this is your campaign now. The actual setting for your campaign is a misery. It's miserable.
Horrible.
It is tragic. It is sad. It is unfair. It is cruel. It is hard. It's oppressive. Like, your story and your campaign is all of those things. However, we're still a group of people at a table playing a game, having fun.
Having a fucking laugh.
We still have a laugh.
Week.
We still do stupid things.
Yeah.
We still act stupidly. We still have a laugh. We still talk to each other. I think people who maybe know us IRL and have not played D&D with us properly before have this assumption that your game is this really serious, gritty, and the thing is, it is.
And if you were to just hear the story,
you would think it is. Yeah,
it is that. But I, as a person, I'm not that.
No,
I am as a dungeon master. I'm also not that.
Yeah,
like I I love having fun.
Yeah.
I love fucking having a joke.
Yeah.
My campaign is a like quite a hard. It's a sad story. It's a sad, like, depressing story. But that doesn't mean my game's like that.
No.
My story's like that.
Yeah.
But the game's not.
And I think when some of our IRL friends who also play D&D, but in a very different way to us, when they actually came to join us, I think they were surprised at how much we do fuck around.
Yeah, we do fuck around.
Because we do fuck around.
Because it's D&D and we're just loving fun.
Yeah.
So just like look at Critical Role. Matthew Mercer is a brilliant storyteller, fantastic world builder. All of, like, Liam O'Brien, Caleb, miserable. Vaxeldan, miserable. But they all sit at the table and just have a laugh.
Yeah.
Because they're just mates who just want to have fun. And it's just like, yes, our stories and stuff like that can be epic and sad and tragic, but at the same time, just have fun.
I think it's important to be able to recognize the timing for those things as well. Recognize in the moment, oh God, we're having a really serious moment right now, and that calls for us to act serious and take it seriously. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're fucking around right now.
Yeah,
and
let's just fuck around.
I think for me personally, I like a good balance of both. I like to cry. I cry often. I like to cry. I like to be moved. I like to be hurt. I like to be surprised. I like to be excited. I like to be mad.
Yeah.
I like to have all of those serious emotions, but there's moments in our game where it's the most I have laughed in my life because we are just friends being stupid.
And I couldn't agree more.
And
I just look, and that's the thing, I look forward to it because it's fun. And I think there was a time where I was like, man, the story's not good enough. The story's not, like, intense enough. The story's not this. The story's not that. And do you want to know what? I fucking just dropped all that, and I was just like, the story will be what it will be.
Totally.
I'm telling my story that I enjoy, and I will just turn up and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever told a better story now because of that.
I agree.
Because, honestly, I gave up trying to be that.
Yeah.
But I think because of that, I ended up being more that because I'm just having a good time.
I agree. And you know, this is a big PSA. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
That's not fair to say. That's not fair to say.
No. Take it as seriously as you want.
Yeah.
But don't forget to have fun.
Exactly. Yes. Well said. It's okay to take it seriously, and it's okay to want things to go a certain way and your players to act a certain way regarding your special moments. And it's making sure that everyone respects that, but is allowed to have fun despite that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, take it seriously because that's how we build stakes.
Yeah.
And that's how we, like, tell
that's
these
how we care
epic
about
stories.
The game. Yeah.
But just never forget to have fun.
And also, don't get people having fun and messing around. Don't
misconstrue that
as not taking it seriously and not enjoying it. Yeah. Are you ready for the last one?
Yes.
1, they're like dwarves. 2, they like Diggy. 3, they like Diggy. 4, they like Hole. Goodbye.
I like dwarves and a diggy hole.
Diggy hole.
Diggy hole.
Diggy hole.
Very good. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we didn't do any of this. We didn't do any stuff before.
Oh
Buy
my
some
God.
merch.
Oh my God. We just got straight into it. Oh God. We're both wearing merch today. Let's go.
www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Go and pick up some merch. Patreons get 10% off. Check out the Patreon down below, the multi-tiered Patreon, where you can get exclusive content into things like our campaign updates and extra advice. Come join us on Twitch every Friday, every Sunday, every other Tuesday, but not tomorrow because we're having a day off for a while. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps the video very much. It helps us very much. And if you want to support us in any way, please check the description below.
Did you like the green flag episode?
I like the green flag episode.
We'll be doing a green flag one for players as well. It's only fair that the players get one after the DMs get one. So
let us know your green flags down in the comments.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you. We have been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Thursday. Bye.
And another huge thank you to our patrons for all of your support. A big shout out to our fellow entities.
Hoobs.
Ariel.
Tula.
Runarian.
Arkham Labs Cosplay.
Maddie.
Pepsi Woman.
Luna.
Teddysaurus.
Caspian.
Ryan the Giant 111.
J Spot,
Ultrafail,
Dallin M,
Sleepy,
Joe Dragonlord 2,
Alistar,
Lawkeeper Society,
Ricky B,
Danny Phantom,
Catherine,
Faustskin,
Azuriel,
Panda Queen Plays,
Xylo Boy,
Lucas Iapetis,
Luna River.
Ruined Rivers. Thank you again for all your support.
And if you too would like to become a patron of the Eldritch Podblast, check the link below.